an intense climax of Cyberpunk 2077's trailer that revealed a breathtaking casting choice.
You're breathtaking!
But also hints of V's struggle as a mercenary outlaw going after a one-of-a-kind implant that is said to be the key to immortality.
I'm sorry.
And subsequent gameplay reveals that looks like Cyberpunk 2077's story and gameplay elements are going to be insane. Especially with how many questions were left unanswered, yet simultaneously teased with clues by the developers. So here are my top 10 predictions for Cyberpunk 2077.
Wake the f*** up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Hi, my name is Mike Pondsmith, and I'm the guy who killed your Cyberpunk characters.
Although creator of Cyberpunk universe Mike Pondsmith is fond of killing off characters, Morgan Blackhand was his own character of choice to roll during his Cyberpunk 2020 days. There are a few strong hints that he is possibly returning to 2077. The first is a blink and you'll miss it moment in the E3 2019 gameplay trailer when they say,
Mr. Hand sent me. Am I right for the job?
Perhaps erroneously, I thought it was referring to Johnny Silverhand, but it'd make more sense that he's referring to Morgan Blackhand instead. The other two pieces of potential evidence were recently covered by Legacy Killer HD on YouTube. The first that appears to be Blackhand's silhouette in a junkyard via Cyberpunk's official Instagram account, smartly labeled "Need a Hand" as a potential ride nod to the character, and obviously the synthetic hand that is popping out of the garbage. The second was released during 2018, showing what seems to be the pragmatic solo on a couch with a friendly pooch.
Check it out. This is Mike Pondsmith saying, I'm still here to kill your Cyberpunk character.
The original cyberspace still exists behind the black wall, and the bravest and the most skilled netrunners are still trying to get through, to reach it, to get to the other side, and to see what's there. However, none of them ever returned. So it's kind of a mystery throughout the world.
Will we be going beyond and seeing what's on the other side?
Well, you'll have to play to learn that.
The Black Wall, the only thing standing between the world of Cyberpunk and total anarchy. Or so Netwatch would have you believe. Originally erected by Netwatch as a means to keep out rogue AI, which flooded the original cyberspace due to a legendary hacker, which prompted the original quarantine, aka the Black Wall, and said AI have been unchecked ever since, possibly evolving into who knows what for years.
So it's this mysterious place, like I like to think about it as this Lovecraftian kind of thing, like this different dimension where the rogue AIs do their own thing.
Cyberpunk Lovecraftian. Interesting.
Exactly, and they develop themselves unchecked, basically, because the Netwatch doesn't actually control what happens there.
Which begs the question, not only will we see beyond the wall, which seems to be a given, but will we see it destroyed in one potential game ending? Given how two prominent factions of Netwatch and Voodoo Boys are actively vying for control, not to mention all of the revealed gameplay quest story elements centering around it. Assuming Netwatch and the establishment's motive is to still maintain order and protect the wall at all costs, surely siding with their mortal enemies, the Voodoo Boys, in one of the game's confirmed multiple endings, whose own confirmed objective is tearing down the Black Wall, believing it would result in truly enriching mankind versus destroying it, it's highly likely, in one campaign ending at least, we will witness whether it would elevate mankind or doom us all.
Beyond, there are no borders. Beyond the Black Wall.
Ready to make sense of anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything.
Speaking of the Black Wall, it seems like if you were a rogue AI on the run, that's exactly where you would want to hide. Enter Old Cunningham, a central character of Cyberpunk 2020 and one-time girlfriend of Johnny Silverhand, makes a suspiciously poignant appearance in the game's official teaser. According to the wiki and a heavily condensed backstory for Alt, she invented the beta version of Soul Killer, a program that would make a digital emulation or copy of a netrunner's mind. Saburo Arasaka kidnapped her, extracted the information from her, and made a more deadly version that would simultaneously fry the netrunner's mind after backing it up, allowing a sysop to interrogate it at will. They then used it on Alt since she was no further use to them, but her digital ghost broke free into the net. It would make perfect sense that the one place of respite that neither Netwatch or Arasaka could get to Alt, or unfortunately a lovesick ghost of Johnny, is behind the Black Wall, somewhere I also predict we will venture and will meet the truant ghost of Alt Cunningham. Cyberpunk 2077 will no doubt tackle issues of the psychological and physical effects of body modifications, but what about the effects of digitally downloading one's consciousness? Can you still love as a digital ghost?
I must get out of here. I must get free. And in this mind is the key.
The official plot synopsis of Cyberpunk 2077 openly states, you play as V, a mercenary outlaw, going after a one-of-a-kind implant that is the key to immortality.
I'm sorry.
Which is an interesting tidbit, as it should also be noted, according to the Cyberpunk 2020 rulebook, the original Soul Killer, created by Alt Cunningham, started as a matrix to contain artificial personalities. Alt studied the concept, worked out the parameters for creating a storage matrix. She'd been fascinated and awed to discover the same matrix could contain living engrams, transfer them from computer to body and even back again. It was Immortality. As a side note, this reads like a seamless parallel to real-life billionaire Dmitry Itskov's 2045 plan of downloading human consciousness to robot avatars in an attempt to subvert mortality's expectations.
2030 to 2035. Rebrain. The colossal project of brain reverse engineering is implemented. World science comes very close to understanding the principles of consciousness.
So it makes total sense that if Alt Cunningham had indeed figured out the key to immortality, and it seems that she has not only created a digital ghost of herself but also Johnny, and whether she passed it on to Johnny via the aforementioned chip, or said chip is a means of tracking her down in the net, in which Johnny would be doing so for love and everyone else would do so because they want to get the information of how to live forever from Alt, it's evident all sides would be vying for control of this potentially limitless power.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
If Johnny's ghost lives for love, it's because Johnny Silverhand originally died for love as well. In fact, Johnny himself was originally killed trying to free Alt Cunningham's ghost from Arasaka, brutally cut in half from an auto shotgun by Fullborg Atom Smasher, a fact that doesn't stop the devs from enjoying a good shotty.
I have seen like awesome shotgun that has 8 barrels and they shoots them in the same time.
I'm so excited. That's yeah. Shotguns, they're my favorite. 8 barrels, even better.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So if Johnny died trying to save Alt and was somehow revived as a ghost, presumably from Alt's tech, assuming it's not some kind of insidious Arasaka trick and not really Johnny using their version of Soul Killer to sniff her out of the net, I mean, that would be a pretty gnarly twist. Surely if we sided with his enemies, it'd mean extracting the recipe for immortality from Alt Cunningham and then frying Alt and virtual Johnny to boot. But that's not my prediction. No, my prediction is that if there is an option to kill Johnny, it will be the most watched Cyberpunk video online, hands down, as no one has the heart to actually kill internet darling Keanu Reeves' character willingly on their first playthrough, and will probably instead choose to be a voyeur and watch some monster via YouTube do it instead.
All right, I gotta talk to you about something.
If indeed you do tear down the wall, save old Cunningham and free her from the confines of the net, where would a cyber ghost go? And for that matter, what about Johnny's for a heartfelt reunion? Surely they wouldn't be two dancing holograms or pieces of code. It's the last line from Cyberpunk 2020 that has me intrigued, which says, Alt has been fascinated and awed to discover the same matrix could contain living engrams, transfer them from computer to body and even back again. It was immortality. If that is the key to immortality, surely they would have new avatar bodies created, a step beyond full Borg or some kind of new synthetic body. I believe we will see their ghosts extracted into a new shell, in one way or another by the end of the game, without that pesky cyber psychosis to worry about if they were full Borg. And if Arasaka or some other group is prepping for the dawn of a new era, I'm betting they have a whole slew of bodies on the ready as well.
Ghost in the Shell. Released theatrically worldwide, fall 1995.
There's some, let's say, surprise vehicles that are still to be seen in Cyberpunk that I don't want to spoil here, but I would say something very special that's also dear to my heart.
Roach. After spying aerodynes or flying cars in the gameplay demo of Cyberpunk 2077, punters were scrambling for answers on whether we as the player would be able to own and operate our own flying vehicles in and around Night City. Unfortunately, according to quest designer coordinator Philip Weber,
now I'm really intrigued.
But of course also, let's say, the super highest echelon of people in Night City, they also have access to AVs, so flying cars, which is something that you as a player, you're not part of that world, but through specific story moments, you might get to, ride in them sometimes. So, we want to give you a few different experiences. We don't just have cars, we of course also have bikes, like our very own Yaiba Kusanagi here, one of my favorites. It's a very, very cool bike.
So, if flying cars are too pricey for plebs, but there's a secret vehicle, what would make the most sense? My prediction came from when we saw in an interview with Yongyi and Mateusz Tomaskevich, where he was talking about the new challenge of verticality.
People are wondering, can you go up to a incredibly high rooftop and just jump off and see what happens, stuff like that? Like, how free is your mobility in terms of verticality?
This again depends heavily on the content that we have. Sure. I'm a little bit afraid of spoiling something for the players, but I think the highest buildings are in the downtown area, so where the corporations have their...
the megacorp buildings.
Exactly.
And I was looking at the confined spaces of Night City, and I realized my money is firmly on a late-game jetpack.
There's also, super luxury, high-end vehicles on the other side of the coin. So, of course, you as a player are only limited by what you can afford.
That's like real life.
Yeah.
Sandra Dorset, NC 570442. Got a winner. Or she will be if we can get her to a hospital. Sheesh. Trauma Team Platinum, too.
Platinum? Shit, TT should have swooped in if she sneezed.
Sandra Dorset is a character players must help rescue in Cyberpunk 2077's gameplay demo in the quest Breaking Through. She's been captured by scavengers and a locator beacon is turned off. Together with Jackie Wells and T-Bug, players infiltrate the scavenger base to find her with unknown injuries floating in an ice-filled tub.
Layout shows only one room left, the bathroom. Go.
Sure hope our target's in there.
At which point, as she has a platinum membership, which allows her top-tier medical help, Trauma Team International swoops in to collect her.
Place the patient on the stretcher.
Not much else is known about her, except CD Projekt Red have peppered secret code and messages across all manner of media for fans to uncover. Recently on a Discord server, a mysterious netrunner known as Sandra Dee, aka Sandra Dorset, was leaking intel and was actively discussing trying to free old Cunningham as CD Projekt Red's way of building up the hype and lore. Which, as we know as well, with our trip to Nanette with the Voodoo Boys, when you're in a bathtub full of ice, it stops your body from frying. So, in a confirmed early game quest, pre-meeting Johnny, we just saved/gave up a figure, Sandra Dee, who may be instrumental in aiding us free Alt, seeing as she's a formidable netrunner. My prediction is then we see this as a blunder later in the game, which means we'll probably end up saving Sandra Dorset, who will be instrumental as a netrunner, able to help our objective of helping Johnny breach the Black Wall in the main quest line.
Is that her? Is that our target, V?
Room's too simple. Not our girl, I think. Keep looking.
Because in 2077, you get a chance to see that not every gang is the same as every other gang, and what motivates them depends on the people you meet on the street. Check it out.
It seems the Black Wall is a huge component between the status quo for the citizens of Cyberpunk 2077's world and all-out digital revolution. However, it should be noted even attempting to access the deeper web is dangerous. Outside of the fact that no one has ever returned from the other side, the more immediate danger is the fact that we know that the ice baths are pivotal in keeping people's core temperatures stable, as you can literally be fried by accessing the deeper net. And I imagine that if we as the player are going to inevitably aid or ourselves tear down the wall and free humanity of oppression, that it comes, of course, with a cost. I cannot see V surviving this ordeal in every ending, or at least Sandra. In true RPG form, altruism still has a toll, and self-sacrifice for the betterment of mankind, no doubt, is the ultimate price to pay. Hey guys, thanks for watching through the whole video. I wanted to do the last point in person because it's very personal to me. And that is, I believe that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be a runaway success and game of the year. That is my prediction, but the personal part is, if you've seen some of my videos before on Dash Star or other channels, I have covered Star Wars, Marvel, even freaking Overwatch, Fallout, all of these universes which, however you feel about their current status, have one way or another, I guess, divided the fan base through some of their social or monetary choices. And I'm so proud of CD Projekt Red taking a risk. Usually companies just make the same game over and over again, or they stay to something safe. You know, you don't build new worlds. This isn't a complete new IP, but it may as well be. I mean, an RPG from the 80s, you know, they're going up against billion-dollar franchises that are established, but the number one thing that is carrying them is how much insane effort that they put into the community. If you've seen any of the Easter eggs that they're peppering around or what they're doing, even with The Witcher in the past, they are very dedicated to that, but also, you know, they are firmly or staunchly against microtransactions. They don't do any shady practices. And so this goodwill, which they have started to garner, is really paying dividends. And you see so much on the internet just being negative. So I wanted to kind of lift them up and say, look, we see what you're doing. It's going to pay off, obviously, but very proud of the company, very excited to experience a whole new universe. I didn't think after all of those titles I mentioned before that I would be digging through an entire new lore universe, but I am. And so that's kind of hard. And I apologize to anybody who's well read and been like, I read 2013 or 2020 and he missed XYZ. I'm excited to get into the universe because, again, the trust in CD Projekt Red, but I'm not an expert. I'm a little bit out of my depth, a little. I'm trying to make it up with enthusiasm and research, but I just wanted to let you know that it all comes from a place of passion. If you want to look at my videos in the future and kind of get an idea of what they're going to be like, Think of me as the Australian Oxhorn. I like to let you see all of the choices in a very cinematic playthrough so that you can experience your favorite quests or ones that you haven't played in a new way, but also just see how it, from all sides. Now, this game is pretty insane. The nebulous idea of how many choices and how it branches out is already freaking me the hell out, but I'm excited to tackle it with you guys. I'm really fingers crossed that CD Projekt Red gets across the line and keeps doing right by the consumer, and I just want to have fun and enjoy the excitement with you for Cyberpunk 2077. So with all that said, if you enjoyed the video, if you're interested in seeing the future videos, please consider subscribing, and until next time, Traveler.